Hello everybody, what's up? Welcome to another installment of appabend streams. Like last week, we're going to do a pure chat stream in which we're just gonna stay for like approximately 1 minute or 30 around, not 1 minute, that's pretty short. An hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours. Actually, I couldn't do 2, actually. I need to do 1 hour. So I'm gonna need to do 1 hour and a half stream of me just talking with you guys. It's been a pretty terrible day for me, at least, because man, Mother Nature has been not very kind for me, because rain has fallen down in the most unexpected moments, and thanks to that, I got a little sick, and I never thought that my immunity has gone tested. So Mother Nature has been incredibly cruel for me today. Which they usually don't. She usually doesn't. But, well. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing very well. Hope you're having a great day indeed. Let's see here. Hey, man, I was just starting to stream, like, announcing the stream like an hour ago, and people already came in. So, 10 minutes due to the thumbnail. Oh, yeah. People are gonna ban me over the stream because I displayed the most dangerous creature on Earth. Indeed. Countdanculus freaking pug. Very dangerous and very barbaric. Speaking of barbaric, the topic of today was odd. Alright, this should be good. Jesus Christ. It's been not very good for me. Sick. It's not a very optimal time to pick in a stream, but I'm a little bored, so might as well. Smash that like button, indeed. Sauce for that music. That's Laszlo Imaginary Friends NCS release. Just Google Imaginary Friends NCS, you'll find it. Thanks for recommending me Black Lagoon. I just finished it. Oh, speaking of Black Lagoon. Speaking of Black Lagoon, I was just finishing the entire, the rest of the Black Lagoon series, because the manga was apparently on hiatus for a long time. Not sure when they're gonna pick it back up, and I've been trying to finish there's like one very long story arc involving a Chinese hacker in the Black Lagoon. I'm not sure. It's kind of confusing reading the manga. I'm not really sure how one story goes there, one story gets in. There's a lot of conspiracy. There's a lot of very sorts of gangster sorts of. It's a crime. It's a freaking crime anime, but there's a lot more emphasis on the crime instead of, you know, the crime and the characters instead of the action, which is one thing I find very surprising about Black Lagoon. It's less of an action anime and more of a crime anime, a crime thriller sort of anime. And that's why people enjoyed it so much, because the action doesn't really take up a lot of the space. Sure, there's action, and when the action comes in, it's pretty freaking epic, it's pretty cool. But a lot of times it's drama, a lot of times it's crime, a lot of times it's essentially a thriller. And that's why people love it. People love Black Lagoon. But I really need to slow down my read on the manga, though, because the manga is pretty fast-paced. Not necessarily fast-paced, it's just that I was reading it in a way too fast-paced. I was reading it too fast, so I couldn't get some of the story bits. So, but still, if you haven't been watched Black Lagoon yet, go see Black Lagoon. It's a great series. It has 2 seasons, technically 3 if you count the OVA, which is just one story arc, but still, it's a very long story arc that is still important, and it does add a lot of new things. So, definitely. Check it out. Thanks, appabend. Watching anime made me gay. Depends. If you're watching like too many bishoujo anime, shonen anime, yeah, I guess that can technically make you gay. But yeah, if you're watching too much free, that's certainly true. Mm, Pug B, Pug Unknown's Galaxy Biscuit. Oh, Pug B. Oh, what are your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts? I haven't played any of the Kingdom Heart games because I'm not. While I am familiar with a lot of Disney materials, I'm not too familiar with like the cartoons, the Goofy, the Mickey Mouses, the Donald Ducks. Wait, which Donald Duck is? You have to do. Yeah, I forgot. I can't really recall, but basically, I'm not too familiar with Disney. I couldn't even recall whether or not Donald Duck was in Cartoon Network or is it Disney. I forgot, but still, I'm not too familiar with Disney. I'm not too familiar with Final Fantasy, so that's why I'm not really too interested with Kingdom Hearts. God, man, this is sick. It's been raining, which is surprising because this is not the sorts of time where it's raining. It's usually raining, but well, it's raining now. Will you watch Bichiko and Hachin? No. Anime turned my frog gay. Roberto's Blood Trail is probably the only unmatched arc within its series. I'm not sure which one was that. Is that the first Roberta arc or is it the second Roberta arc? Because in my opinion, I think the first one is much better because the second one is definitely more intense, but it's basically a rehash of the first one. A lot of the themes are pretty much rehashed on from the first sorts of Roberta arc, and it would have been just so much better if they just turn spoiler. I wouldn't spoil it, but okay. They basically turned a character that had a lot of potential to not having so much potential. Yeah, I don't really like that OVA as much as a lot of people do. I like Rock in that because there's a lot of transition. It's clearly evident. It's very much evident that Rock has transitioned into the bad guy in that arc because he has to like manipulate everybody. Like his desires to pretty much save everybody, make sure that everybody is safe, make sure that everybody gets what they want. But in order to do that, he has to like plan out everything. And I like him. I like him when he's planning out stuff. When he's just going one side of it. He's like he's a genius in that. But unfortunately, what I didn't like so much was that it's basically a rehash of the first arc. And yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Ni no Kuni releasing tomorrow? The first one, I didn't like as much as a lot of people did. Because a lot of times, because the active time battle of some sort, it's quite frustrating. I really hate when, you know, JRPGs, they combine this turn-based battle with real-time battle as if to assume that if you combine the two, you're gonna get the worst of both worlds. So you're gonna have to shift through the menu in order to find the option that you want, but you have to do it very quick because it's in real time. It's much better if they do it like, you know, in Persona, where you can just take your time and pick out whatever strategies, whatever tactics that you need to. So I just like the Final Fantasy 13s, for example. That one was not only the fact that it took like, it's a very slow boil game, and it's a lot, and unlike Persona, where at least when Persona 5, you can at least get into the game, you know what's going on, you know the characters, you know the story. It gives you chunks by chunks, piece of the story bits. Final Fantasy 13 doesn't do that until like 20 hours in, which is way too freaking long. Tell us why Persona 5 is amazing. No, because I'm very sure everybody has already talked about why Persona 5 is amazing. Instead, I'm going to tell you why Persona 5 isn't my favorite Persona. and why Persona 5 is not the best in the series, in my opinion. Oh, sure, the gameplay is much better. Gameplay is significantly much better than the fourth one. You're not going to have any sorts of randomly generated dungeons. Carefully crafted dungeons are more beautiful, more cinematic, if you could call it that. Much better focus, much better direction. The dungeons are much better. What I didn't like was the story. I'm not saying that I hated the story of Persona 5 a lot, because I love the story. It's great. It's just that compared to the other Persona games, I think the fourth one is much better. The fourth one is just... the fourth one is still my favorite Persona, because the story, a lot of it is because of the story. If you're looking at the perspective of gameplay, then yeah, Persona 5 obviously gets that. But the story, 4 is the best. 3 has a very rocky start. Very rocky start, but a very good second half. That's why people say it's the best of the series, even though the first half of the third one is pretty freaking rocky. And unlike the fourth one, where, you have a lot of grand characters, like, when the characters have their personas, they have, big, grand moments. Like, the moment when they have a persona, it feels grand. It feels memorable. But in Persona 3, they just sort of have it. Like, the one moment that I hated so much is the fact that they just shoved in Shinjiro they just so happened to shove Shinjiro. Like, I really want to know how Shinjiro can go back to the team. And then in Persona 3, they decided to tell the story. The story basically goes, well, I asked Shinjiro to go back to the team, and then he goes back to the team. It's like, it's been very much established that he doesn't want to go back to the team, but then somehow with a snap of a finger, he goes back. Like, there needs to be a bit more build-up. And Persona 3 is rocky, very rocky in that department. I just find it Persona 4 a lot better, a lot more focused, a lot more tightly focused. And the villain is much better. Not the actual villain, but the idea that yourself is the villain is much better than the idea that, oh, it's this godlike entity that will hurt you. Because ultimately, Persona 4 makes it a lot more grayer in that area. Makes the story grayer because the villain is you, ultimately. Your shadow. Not necessarily the main villain, but it's your shadow. And the idea of fighting your own shadow is it's pretty freaking scary. Anyway. What else do we have here? I already talked about Nidokuni 2. Where did you get your posters? I've been trying to. I make it myself. I print it myself. I'm not printing myself. I just go to a printer I just go to a freaking printer, a nearby printing store, and just ask them, hey, print this. And then I print them and I put it there. That's it. I don't buy these posters. Because usually when you buy the posters, they're not on the same size, and they usually don't fit very well. So you want to make sure that you get the poster and you make it sure it fits. So anyway, what else? I just found something called Release the Witches. Heard of it? Like 800 chapters and not even fully translated yet. I don't know. I'm not too much of a Black Lagoon guy. I'm more fantasy romance guy. Oh, all right. So it would be like Day Day Life or High School DxD or To Love Ru. Where did you get... Oh, I already did that. Have you seen Slayers? No. Tell us what... Oh, I already read that. Are you watching the Death March anime of the new season? I'm reading the web novel right now. First web novel I've ever read. No, I don't know. I don't know about that. Will you be in the next Raid movie? No. Definitely not. Tell us about the Juice. What Juice? What are your thoughts on Hatsune Miku concert? I've seen one, and it was odd. Like, she's a freaking hologram, like, in the show, and you can't really tell if it's a hologram. It's weird. It's basically like I don't know. Like I can't really explain it so much. You have to see it for yourself. That's the sort of thing you need to see for yourself. It's a weird experience. That's what I can say. Persona 5 is the first one I played, so I don't know about the series. What is a good way to play 4 on PC? Well, I play Persona 4 and Persona 3 on PC, fam. It's called emulation. If you have a PS2, I just emulate the PS2 version. Although, although to be if I have to be 100% honest, the golden version is definitely much better. It's on PS Vita, but unfortunately, there's no PS Vita emulator as of yet. Golden, Persona 4 Golden is so much better. So much added content. But the original Persona 4 is still like, if you haven't gone into Persona yet, you haven't had a PS3, you haven't had a PS4, you want to play Persona, get Persona 4 on the PS2. If you still have your PS2 lying around. But if you don't have a PS2 lying around, if you have a pretty good PC, then you can just emulate it. It's not necessary. It's not a very heavy game, and it's a turn-based freaking combat game, so it's not going to be heavy. Yeah, emulate it on the PCSX2. That's what I did. I emulate. I played Nocturne. I beat Nocturne on the PCX on my PC with PCSX emulator. I've been both the DDS Digital Devil Saga on the PCSX2 as well. If you really like edgy ultraviolet anime from the 90s, but I hate all modern day anime, do you still count as a weeb? The thing about being a weeb is that it's very people's definition of a weeb is different from person to person. Like, what would I consider a weeb? Like, I would consider if you like Japanese sorts of anime, like, you're not necessarily a full weeb. Like, I just joined in the whole weeb stuff. I just watch anime ever since 3 years ago, approximately, like 3 years ago. It was the time where One Punch Man was released. That's when I finally got into watching more and more anime. So I'm not necessarily like a very massive weeb. I was just got into the scene. I'm pretty much 3 years, but a lot of you guys are a lot more experienced than me. But would I consider myself a weeb? Yeah, in the surface, pretty much, yeah, but I'm not as experienced of a weeb as a lot of people, or not as intense. I don't have a Dakimakura, which, contrary to popular belief, I actually really hate Dakimakuras. I really don't see the appeal to them. Like, why do you have to plaster your character static and motionless in a freaking pillow when you could have just had them on your phone? And if you're gonna plaster your favorite character in an anime, why not plaster them in a freaking car? That would be badass. Like, I've seen like motorsports cars with Hatsune Miku. Like, that sends like mixed messages in there. Like, this guy has a really damn cool car, but is also a freaking weeb. So not sure if you're going to date him or not. But Dakimakura, I just don't see the appeal. But still, I wouldn't consider you, if you hate modern anime, well, modern anime, what would you consider as a modern anime? One Punch Man is modern anime, Death Parade is modern anime, Zankyo Terror is a modern anime. Are you referring to moe sorts of anime? You know, the anime that just, you know, they're not necessarily action, but they're just, you know, cutesy girls doing cutesy stuff, you know, like the New Game, the Blend S's, the Shirobakos. I think you're talking about the genres more. Like, there are modern anime out here that are more violent in terms of the genres that can potentially match up with your 90s sorts of anime. So I don't know. You need to define what modern animes are before I can consider you a weeb or something. Free Dankula. Dankula must be freed. There's nothing much I could say, but, well, just free Dankula. It's pretty freaking unfair. Have you played the new Yakuza game? Kiwami 2 or 6? They haven't released Kiwami 2, so it's gotta be the 6th one. No, I haven't played the 6th one. Although I do like, Beat Takeshi's in there. And he looks like Beat Takeshi. I love him. Let's see here. Buddha has went missing since Dankula's trial, last seen crossing the police border. Threw money at you, why hasn't it showed up? It should have shown up. Did you? I'm not sure. You received $3. Oh yeah, you did throw me money. I'm not sure why it didn't show up though. It's gotta be internet. Thank you, but still, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. Let's check out Streamlabs here. Anyway, as we're checking out on that, you hear about the stupidity with the Han Solo posters? Yeah, I've heard it. They basically took the gun, the blasters, out of the poster for some reason. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But apparently it's a Spanish poster, the poster in Spain. I'm not really sure why, but well, they threw it out anyway. So you watched the Persona 4 movie. You mean Persona 3 movies? I haven't seen the Persona 3 movies, but my brother have seen it and he thought it was good. But the Persona 4 anime, yeah, I've seen it. It's a lot more how do you call it? Fan servicey than a lot of it. Okay, here's a super chat. I'm pretty sure you never saw this coming. Actually, you probably did, but hey, take my American money. Hi, what we're talking about? I just dropped in like, hey, appabend streaming. Also, give me your waifu names. Also, how do you feel about Morgana? What we're talking about? Well, we're talking about random stuff, depending on what you guys asked me on the chat. So it's entirely up to you. Hey, appabend streaming, give me your waifu's names. I'll give you my first waifu. Her name is Sasha Browse. How do you feel about Morgana? I think he should sleep. Oh Jesus Christ! I shouldn't have streamed with the Samsung Go. This thing is like if I laugh, it's gonna pop in. Let's see. Have you thought about putting up a tutorial video on how you make your videos? I already did. I already did. It's been a while since I did that though. Just go on my channel and look for how I make my videos. Although that's a very old video, and that was a video when I still have the white avatar. But if you still have questions on what to do on how to make your videos, well, just ask away here. It's fine. Are you gonna check out the Persona dancing games? Yeah. I mean, it's Persona. Like, ever consider playing SMT4 if you ever have the chance? SMT4 is on 3DS, and unfortunately, there aren't going to be many 3DS games. I'm very sure that a lot of games are moving on the Switch, and hopefully, Atlas is going to like remaster Shin Megami Tensei 4 or any of the Persona games on the Switch. Because that would eventually eat up my freaking if I just Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, if all of them are ported on the Switch, it would eat up my entire freaking SD card. So, but still, I would love to see SMT games on the Switch. The reason why I bought the Switch is because of Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's it. Like, that's the entire reason why I bought the Switch. But the Switch also has some great games as well. So, which YouTube critic do you hate the most? I don't hate anybody on YouTube, to be honest. They have stupid opinions, sure, but I don't have like a hatred on them. It's not necessarily like a powerful hate force they have to people, but no, I don't hate most critics. But it depends though. Name me one YouTuber or critic, then I'll tell you my opinions on it. For the 90s fans, it's termed old taku, but then again, you gotta be the 30s to 40s to fit the category. Huh. Played the real SMTs with the Jack Bros with the Virtual Boy. Thoughts on Hellboy and Spawn reboots coming up the future? Not really. Not really interested. Because you can hug the reason for your loneliness. I can also hug a normal freaking pillow. Like, everybody has a normal freaking pillow. They can hug them. Like, there's why Dakimakura? Because it has your waifu placed around it. Like, you're gonna close your eyes when you sleep anyway, so why not imagine her in your head or something? I think you should watch the Persona 4 movie. There's a Persona 4 movie? I'm very sure there's not. Oh, there is. Or is there? Oh yeah, apparently it is. But it's just a recut of the 26th episode, apparently. So, not much. Have you ever played Golden Sun by any chance? No. Have you watched Devilman Crybaby? Wow, you missed out a lot, fam. I've made an entire review of it in my channel. I loved it, so... What are your thoughts on the Yakuza games? I have never played any of the Yakuza games. Because I've had them on my store back in the PS2 days, but I don't have the PS2 right now. And I would love to play like the first and the third Yakuza on the PS2, but I just simply don't have a lot of time. So apparently we need gun control in our fantasy too. How do you feel about free anime or free cartoon sites like Kiss Anime? Kiss Anime is blocked in my region, so and apparently I cannot access that if I use VPN, so that sucks. But I still have Nya, and I use them. Like, it's maybe it's it's very like, it might be a bit dodgy for me to admit it, but like Indonesia is like 50% pirates anyway, so might as well. Like if I say that I pirate stuff, it's no surprise. Like everybody pirates stuff here, so yeah. So I think they are nice. If you they're anime that you can't really find anywhere else, and usually yeah, or even the Pirate Bay has them. So there. Is Tales of Berseria any good? I haven't played it, but I have it on my Steam library. I bought it because it was on sale. I'm not sure yet, but still, I have played. However, I have played Tales of Symphonia. Symphonia was a bit weeby. Like it's a bit too weeb for me. Like it's very cliched at a lot of things, but apparently people said to me that the Tales series are like a lot of the times are subversions of your typical anime fantasy JRPGs. Like when you play Tales, for example, like there's like a way the game will basically just twist it out into something different. So I'm not really sure. I need to play it even further. Although the last Tales game that I played a lot actually was Tales of Legendia. And I love Legendia. Legendia is amazing, but unfortunately, I don't have too much memories of it. And they haven't ported that game on a PC yet, so... They did port Zestiria on PC, so that's interesting. Have you watched Seven Deadly Sins? No, I haven't seen it. I will tell you something you never see coming, a road roller. How is the plush Satan doing? She's sitting on my piano, doing very well. Let's see. Who else agrees here that Yoshimitsu from Tekken should be in Soul Calibur? He was! He was in Soul Calibur. He was in the third one, I think. Was it the third one or the second? As far as I can recall. I think he was in the third one, as far as I recall. How dare you say Morgana should die? I didn't. I said he should sleep. Let's see here. You're gonna watch the Persona 5 anime. Yeah. I just want to see how it compares with the Persona 5 game, and see whether or not the animation is going to be as the character designs are going to be as bad as Persona 4. Because don't get me wrong, I really love Persona 4 the animation, mostly because it's a lot of fan servicey stuff, but the animation was terrible. The design was it took a lot of it's going to take a while to get used to with the designs. If you give it a chance, would you nuke humanity from orbit? If that includes me, then yes, I would. Because I don't want to live alone. I want to be nuked as well. Jeremy Johns or Chris Tuckman? I've subbed to both, and I have no problems with either of them. I disagree with a lot of their opinions, but they're fine. Who's your favorite magical girl? That would be Homura. My ideal Dankula protest, trading a bunch of bugs to make the Nazi salute, and then having them to parade in front of the courthouse with the coding grants or march rising out loud. Christ. Have you seen the anime Garo Vanishing Line? No, I haven't. Thoughts on the Trails of Cold Steel? The first one, I've beaten it. It was surprisingly short for a JRPG. I didn't expect it for it to be that short, but then again, I played it using a walkthrough, so a lot of people are gonna like explore around. I just played it using a freaking walkthrough, and just try to get the maximum AP, and still, I'm actually quite shocked by how short the game is. It's like usually your JRPG is usually gonna be like 60 to 80 hours. This game is like 40 to 50 hours. But then again, I also played it on like, I skipped a lot of content. Actually, not a lot. I haven't collected much of the books, but then again, you can just collect it around. It's pretty short. It's also the one thing that I complain about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is 80 hours long, and it's really freaking exhausting by the time it gets to the last 40 hours. But Trails of Cold Steel gets good only for the first 20 hours before it gets okay in the next 20. In a lot of ways, it's repetitive. The story was pretty repetitive. And the characters are okay. I really like the characters. I really enjoy the characters. I really enjoy the story, but it can get very repetitive. And what I really want the game to do is to actually up the stakes, because from what I've seen so far, the stakes are still pretty middling. Like, it's not to the point where it's life-threatening. Like the characters doesn't seem to feel like they're in danger of some sort, and I want the game to go a bit more brutal with that. But still, I haven't played the second one yet. I will play the second one. But if you like buy Trails of Cold Steel 1 and Trails of Cold Steel 2 combined, that would be like $40, and $40 for like, if I combine the two games, that would be like 80 hours plus. So it's definitely worth your money. Let's see here. Thoughts on Danganronpa? I haven't played any of the Danganronpa games. Gotta go with my Nimbus. Have to get up in 4 hours. Ooh, okay. Yeah, it would twist a bit. It starts bland and generic, but it gets good soon. What are you talking about? Which you're talking about? Are you talking about Trails of Cold Steel? No, if you're talking about Trails of Cold Steel, it was the reverse for me. It was good at first, but it gets bland and generic in the second half. Can you name a game that you didn't think you liked but ended up playing for hours? Okay, that's actually a good question. A game that I didn't think I would like, but I ended up playing it for hours. That would be Euro Truck Simulator. I never thought that I played this game because people have constantly recommended me this game because it is like a very zen, very relaxing experience. But I was like, it's a freaking truck simulator. Like, how can, like, it's gonna be the most boring game that I've ever gonna play. Like, but then I played it and it was surprisingly relaxing. Like, there's a very good zen sort of vibe that you get from playing it. And you can, if you got bored, like, you can literally play this game and put a podcast or just random YouTube videos in the background, and it gets seriously relaxing. And it's especially good when you can play the game, you drive the game with your mouse. Like, a lot of people like drive it with a freaking gamepad, but I drive it with the mouse, and it is pretty freaking challenging and kind of fun driving it with the mouse. Seriously, just, it's very weird control scheme, but I like that it's weird. It takes a bit to get used to, and especially with my mouse having like many buttons on the sides and then like the bottom and then like the sides again, like 4 buttons on the side and then 1 button on like the button in like the bun. So yeah, definitely it's a surprisingly relaxing game. I never thought I would love this game, but I love it. I ended up loving it. The first Soul Calibur game I played was 2. I remember Yoshimitsu there, and he's been in every Calibur game ever since. Oh, alright. Because the only Soul Calibur game that I played was the third one, and I enjoyed the third one. Gameplay's fighting style is a bit wonky, but I enjoyed it. What's the creepiest or most disturbing song you've heard on radio or YouTube? I haven't, not one that I can think of. Let's see here. Important question. Which Shrek movie is the worst? Easily the third. easily for me, the third one is the worst. Because a lot of it is very much a rehash, and the villain was weak. It's basically the half of the villain of Shrek 2, and you're also going to get half the charm from Shrek 2, and Shrek 3 is just rehashing a lot of old cliches, a lot of very old cliches. Like Shrek 2, the first Shrek was okay. I didn't think much of Shrek 1. I watched it years ago, and it was alright. It was relatively enjoyable. Second one was really good. Like, it is really, it's just really funny. I really love the second one. It's epic. The last battle scene is, oh boy, it is one really freaking epic scene. Like, legitimately epic, legitimately like it pumps your adrenaline, gets your heartbeat. It's really good. Loved Shrek 2. Shrek 3 was disappointing. I really didn't like Shrek 3. It's just blah. Shrek 4 was slightly better. Slightly. But it's better because it takes the story to an entirely different direction. Like, it takes the story into a new universe. Instead of, just make the story in the same. Instead of continuing the third story, it puts Shrek in an entirely new universe, and that makes things interesting. And the villain was pretty cool too, so much better than the third one, certainly. It's definitely Shrek 3 for me. Just have to wait Cold Steel 3 to be brought to PC. They would definitely get it to PC. I know shit about Cold Steel the Hedgehog. Okay. Oh, you're talking about Tails. Yeah, okay, if you're talking about Tails, yeah, Tails was pretty bland and generic in the first half, but it's probably gonna get good in the latter bits. Let's see. Maybe a bit. When did I start watching anime? Again, I already said it was it was like 5 years ago. Oh, not 3. No, sorry, 3 years ago. 2015. People who think Soul Calibur is awful but think Soul Calibur 4 is great, neck yourselves, please. Well, I'm not really sure about any of it. Try play Ace Combat 5 Unsung War. Ace Combat is an interesting game. Also, Ace Combat is also one of those games that I didn't think I would like, but I ended up loving it. But the fifth one is not the one that I played. I played Ace Combat 0. I loved Ace Combat 0. Holy shit, I did not expect to love that game. Like, it's a freaking flight simulator, arcadey in a lot of respects, but I ended up loving it. Like, I really like the controls, I really like the style, I really like flying to the air at a very top speed and everything like that. It gets a bit frustrating, but still, I really like the controls, I really like the handling of it. I loved it so much. Then I tried Assault Horizon, which wasn't great. Just one interesting thing about Ace Combat 0 is that the story was surprisingly like there's like a legit story in it, and if you like follow the story, you can get very intrigued of what's going on. Like there's like characters and everything like that. The story was surprisingly like there is a story. Like you don't really expect much from like a flight sim game to have like that much of a story, but still. Who thought that BFH was okay or 7 out of 10? What is BFH? Battlefield Hardline? Battlefield Hardline was bleh. Appabend, notice me please. You are noticed. Favorite artist from your least favorite music genre? I don't have a least favorite music genre. I like even dubstep. Like dubstep, I don't like dubstep, but it's not like to the point where I did like if they can twist it to the point where it doesn't sound slow. Like dubstep is slow. I want it to be a little bit more upbeat, like glitch hop. Glitch hop is a lot faster, even though dubstep is like 140 BPM, but it feels slow. but glitch hop is 110 BPM, and it feels a lot faster. Let's see here. If you got an Alexid, it gives you that competitive edge in Minecraft. Oh. Strike the third. Do you have a Discord? Yes, I do. But it's only exclusive to patrons, so. We're getting a Strike 5. Strike 5. I'm not. Bleh. Strike 4 was just a fanfic, so it was great. In a lot of ways, it can be taken as that. Strike 5 expectations 0. Yeah, the idea the hero cover is pretty good. So completely, totally not a furry, you hear me? Not a furry, totally. Are there any games you are excited for right now? None that I can think of. I guess SMT5, if they got a release date on the Switch, I will get the game immediately. Just straight up. Immediately get the game. But the one thing I'm excited, but not necessarily excited because the game is already released, is a Monster Hunter World on a PC. So I would be very excited to play that one because everybody's been saying that it's really, really good. So yeah, can't wait to play Monster Hunter World on a PC. Let's see here. Cold Steel 2 is better than Cold Steel 1 since you can snowboard. Alright. But does it have a fishing minigame? Did you like Battlefield Hardline? No, I think it's garbage. It was way too over the top to be a Battlefield game. The single player was weirdly structured. The multiplayer was not fun. Do you ever intend to visit Japan? Yeah, obviously, but not now. Not in like the next 3 to 4, not like next 1 or 2 years, but maybe 3 to 4 years. I've been there once and will go there again in a year. It's pretty amazing, to be honest. Also, I haven't gone to sleep yet. Senpai is more important. Appabend about get good, but the shitty lockpick mechanic on Kingdom Come Deliverance on consoles. Oh boy, like the mouse and keyboard, lockpicking minigame in the mouse and keyboard alone is freaking frustrating. So, Berseria is my favorite tale so far. It's edgy, but in a way that's delightfully fun. It's like the main characters are bad guys that's accidentally become the heroes, but never get recognized for it. Well, that's actually a very interesting twist, because like, again, like I said, a lot of the times where people recommend me Tales, it appears to be like every Tales game appears to be your typical JRPG sorts of tale, but then the story progresses into telling a twist to the formula. But that's one side of why people loved it. But then at the other side, people say that Tales is basically the Assassin's Creed of JRPGs. Okay. But still. Do you plan on playing Monster Hunter World in PC when it come out? I already answered that. Let's Shrek die already. What video game YouTuber are you a fan of? Definitely Markiplier. Markiplier Jacksepticeye, which is very mainstream, but they did the job. They made me laugh. They are hilarious. They're entertaining. And they play a lot of games, so yeah. Is it just me, or did Cold Steel have a slight incest subplot? No, you're looking way too far into it, indeed. I don't think so. Between Reen and his sister, I don't think it was like, I think it's not necessarily because Reen's stepsister likes him. It's just that there's like it's a lot more familial issues. It's not necessarily because she likes him. It's just that she's really genuinely annoyed that he couldn't understand what his role in the family is. He downplays his role so much, but his sister thinks that he's a lot more important. He is a very integral part of the family, and that he sometimes in the future he is eventually going to lead the family. He's going to become the father figure for the entire family. But Rin just couldn't accept the responsibility because he's adopted. So yeah, I think it's a lot more issues than that. I don't think it's because she really likes him. Cold Steel was an inside job. Kingdom Come Deliverance, it took me literally until my second run until I even bothered to somewhat learn the lockpicking mechanism. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a great game but it has a very steep learning curve. The learning curve on that game is insane. It's kind of like, in a lot of ways, Crusader Kings 2. If you know how to play Crusader Kings 2, it is a really fun game. But if you don't know how to play it, you're going to get fucked, fam. You're going to get fucked, fam. So, what site do you use to watch hentai? Twitter. How do you melt steel beams if they're cold? Well, the chat got stopped there so far. So, let's see here, because there are a couple of articles I want to talk about that are pretty interesting as we move into this. It's not necessarily a pure chat stream. I never said that it is. But still, there are some articles that I think deserves to be talked about. Here it is. Here's one that people look at the title for this article and then goes, wow, this is the stupidest thing that I've ever read in my entire life. And I can't blame them. Like, look at this title and people are gonna go, what the fuck? This is so stupid. And it is. Oh yeah, live chat. There we go. I forgot to change that. Okay, so here's the article that I'm talking about. GDC panel, video game depictions 90 times more violent than actual war. Like, okay, I want you guys to read this title for a bit and put your expectations. Try to imagine the sort of people that will say this. Just try to imagine what kind of article that this is going to talk about. Just try. I think in general, video games are much more violent than military operations or military simulations. Okay. All right. Before you type in that it's stupid, it is a stupid article, it's actually not. The title was horrible. It does not represent what's the content of the actual article. The point that he's saying here is, it's not that video games will cause violence. More video games are more violent than actual war, therefore it's going to cause people to become more violent. No, the point that the writer is saying here is that video games, the depiction of real battles, like combat in video games, are a lot more frequent than the combat in the real war. Which is true. Like, if you played Arma, like Arma is like a very realistic simulator battle sort of game. And you don't really spend a lot of time in Arma killing people or going to combat. A lot of times it's planning. A lot of times it's basically just gathering up, or like in the real war situation, combat is actually extremely rare. It's very rare for you to go in combat, which is, it sounds very odd, but it is. Like, the combat is not necessarily like, you don't go to war and it just immediately is like freaking combat everywhere. But there's a lot of planning as well. There's a lot of going from bases to bases, a lot of guarding, a lot of paperwork and something like that. But I'm just gonna let the guy say it. He likens writing a game about war, focusing solely on combat, is like writing a movie about relationships, solely about sex. That movie is porno, it's pointless, he said. Games and wider media such as movies, television shows, and books have conditioned us to thinking war is doing hero shit, but focusing solely on combat downplays the day jobs in the military, which is hundreds of tasks, not just shooting. Yes, Like, that's true. This is a really bad title. It does not represent the content of the actual article. Like, the content of the article makes a lot more sense than the freaking title. It's just that the title is freaking horrible. It's like you're implying, oh, video games are 90 times more violent than actual war. No, this is a very clickbaity title. Like, it makes people to actually read the article so that, wow, this guy must have been a freaking retard. But no, the guy is actually sensible. He's actually saying it's true. Like, real war is not like 90% combat or as frequent. The real war does not have about as frequent combat as video games. Like, for example, like when you play Call of Duty, you might notice that a lot of times they focus because it's a video game, obviously. Because when you play Call of Duty, the focus is on the combat. Like, a lot of moments in the game, it's obviously going to be the combat here, combat there. But when you the moments where you pause, when you talk about character, you go to the story, it's very rare. And moments like the plannings and everything like that, it's not frequent it's not displayed in the game because, well, Call of Duty is all about the combat. That's why the combat is a lot more frequent. That's why the universe, takes place in the universe where it's a lot more combat. And that's not real. That's not real war. Like, real war doesn't have as much combat as video games, which is true. Because if it does have as much as combat in the game, then, oh boy, the body counts will be insane. Like, how many people have you killed in video games? Like, it's like 1 million total. Like my friend played CSGO for like 100 hours. Like, not 100 hours. 1,200 hours total on his Steam library. And then if he kills like 5 dudes per 10 minutes, let's just say, that would go for 5 dudes per 10 minutes. That's a 30 dudes per Jesus Christ, my math is bad. But still, it kills a lot of dudes. And if the real war is the same as CS:GO, then there's gonna be a lot more body counts. Yeah. Why is there an article that isn't anti-video game? This article is not anti-video game at all. It's just describing that the video game depictions of the video game depictions of combat and war is not as realistic as the actual war. And that the article actually suggests, hey, let's make a game that basically simulates the difficulties of dealing with a real war. So you're gonna have the day job, you're gonna have cleaning, or you're gonna create a tent, or make a base, or contact the basically just it's like a realistic sort of battle simulator, like Arma. Like, even Arma, there are some liberties. There are some things that the game that are not necessarily as realistic as the real war. So, still. Let's see here. Let's get to the chat. Well, my great-grandfathers will love to know that me playing Vidia is more violent than them slaughtering Frenchies and vodka heads. Oh my goodness, are you suggesting that Rolling Stone is pushing an agenda and are framing things to suit the narrative? Nah. If it's for the content of the article, if it's based on the title, then I would say yes, but not on the content of the article. It's surprisingly very pro-game. Diversity in comics said when they are in war, they're just group and rarely even fire at the enemy. It's more they infiltrate and take over a point. Well, there's that. War is only good if it's for anime titties or the Holy Land. Hashtag default. Playing 9S was one of the most frustrating things I've had to do in a while. I've never wanted to shake a character and say, stop and think your boner rage toaster so badly. 9S wasn't that bad. Like, yeah, he only has one sword, unlike 2B, but he wasn't that bad. Garbage sites get a bait. Also, I suggest visiting the Z-Doom forums when you get tired of Project Brutality. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. All right. Have you heard of a game called H-Pause, Holy Potatoes, A Weapons Shop? No, I haven't. What time is this? Let's go back to... What time is it? 9:57. Actually, unfortunately, I'll probably be off in about 20 to 30 minutes, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up a bit quick. You hear Jack Thompson is back? Yes, I heard that Jack Thompson is back, and he's back with a vengeance, baby. No, actually, apparently there's an article allegedly written by Jack Thompson, but we're not even sure if that's really him. I saw an article says how anime is sexist. It listed 5 animated and sexual females or males. On list 4, it says Attack on Titan. That's fucking amazing. They're desperate women trying to ban sex dolls in the hopes of snacking a 6-digit earning husband, but he prefers waifus. Oh, man. You're gonna need to prefer waifus, fam. A lot of males are gonna need to get to waifus before the thoughts come in to attack them. But still, what else do we have here? Let's see what I could use as a soundtrack. No. No, not that. Ooh. Oh, goddamn. Oh, I'm so sick right now. Let's see here. Where's... Ah, here it is. Okay. So, what else we have here? What's a new Postal game? Well, the third one was garbage. I don't expect a new Postal game anytime soon. The third one was, oh boy. 1, the third one was garbage. 2, there was a third one. Like, legit. People are like asking, there was a third Postal game? There was really a third Postal game? Like, that's weird. Just got here, what did I miss? Well, we've been through an hour of stream, so I don't think you missed much. The perfect waifu for male and female and any gender is PPMe from Pop Team Epic because he's also the perfect vibrator on a whole. I heard about Jack from Weaponized Nerd Rage. Whoa, nice. I lost interest in Attack on Titans after the time skip. Yeah, I hated Attack on Titan. I didn't like it. Like, the first season was exhausting. The first season of Attack on Titan, it's supposed to establish Eren's character. Like, the main character is an annoying fucking prick. Like, this is supposed to be the main character for the series. Like, I want to question it. Like, the 3 main characters are bad. Eren, Mikasa, and who's the other guy? Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. Okay. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. I hated all of them. Like, there's not a character in Attack on Titan. Like, I don't feel for the characters. I don't root for the characters. Like, if these people got slaughtered and got eaten by the freaking Titan, I would give 0 fuck. Like, I've watched it all the way to the end, and I still, to this day, like, I've even watched like season 2 briefly, and to this day, I still hate Eren. There's no way. Like, the first 2 episodes when they introduced Eren to this kid Eren, he was supposed to be like this he was supposed to be the protagonist, but he's a whiny ass fucking bitch. Like, he's just so whiny. Like, even when his mom already got eaten by the freaking Titan, he's still whiny. Like, the amount of whining that comes from Eren it's to the point where Shinji is tolerable. I just really freaking hate him. Mikasa was boring. Armin was equally whiny, but a bit more tolerable. Levi took over. Levi was... the stream was lagging, apparently. I don't download porn. That's weird. Yeah, the quality is bad, unfortunately. Postal 2 was amazingly good. Should be back now. It should be back in a bit. Should be back. It should be back, but I can't get the chat to update. Yep, it's live. It's back, but the health was pretty bad though. So, oh my god, like the chat is. I can't get the chat to work. Freaking bugging. Always stuck in there, for fuck's sake. It's not raining here, surprisingly. And it's not the one running the stream. Oh, the chat is breaking. Oh, any more of this, I'm probably gonna get sick. Probably gonna die. So, I'm just gonna wrap this up. So, yeah, it's been 1 hour. Anyway, so, thank you guys so much for joining in the stream. Oh my god. The chat is fucking bad. Oh my god. Oh my god, the health is not good. Fucking hell. It's not good. Rest in peace, stream.